good God, I better have pressed record. Can you imagine if I didn't? Oh my God.
Oh,
I don't even want to look. Dude, see, that's what happens to me. Like I'll have this thought. It'll just like pop in like that. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, damn, isn't it cool to be alive? Because then you're surprised by freaked out stuff. And then you get to really feel what it's like to be afraid and to be like panicking, all these things. And we couldn't buy these experiences and we couldn't like pretend to be panicked. I can't like be a spiritual being and be like, I'm going to choose panic right now. Duh. But it has to like be cast onto us like that. And I just panicked that you know what out of myself when I thought the idea that this wasn't being recorded because it is so good. Oh my God, this is all such good stuff. But anyway, it is being recorded. I see a little record light. Yes, it blinked at me. It winked at me. That's good.
I can see it's still recording.
Yay.
Right before we started to do this video, I was doing a yoga session and a meditation. I set my insight timer for 22 minutes and 22 seconds. And I set one of the bells to ring at 4:44 and another bell to ring at 11:11. I'm going to do what I need to do. And I don't need to let the opinions of other people affect me or stop me anymore. You know, just focusing on myself is the most important thing in my own development. Yeah.
And you know what? That's exactly what the place that I'm at. Just because I have other people in my life and other activities in my life or responsibilities, it doesn't mean that I have to neglect myself or my own callings or my own inclinations and my own bright little facets of Brian. And I will find a way to balance all of those things. If I just treat myself like someone else, and I give to that guy the way that I give to my son or my spouse or my whoever, then I'll be giving Brian, you know, a fair share of it as well. And I'm the only one who can do that for him.
You know, when we are allowing ourselves to step into that position where we're viewing ourselves from the spirit perspective, where we are, you know, we say this a lot, but when we are able to step into being the silent observer of self, we allow ourselves to see things from such a perspective that we recognize that the overthinking that we're doing and the overanalyzing and the worry and the, oh my gosh, is this not going to work out the right way? Or I don't want to mess something up, or I don't want to step on your toes or make you feel bad or put you in an awkward situation. You know, when we like really accept that, you know, we're human and we're going to have these thoughts, but we're also spirit. And from the spirit perspective, we are the living expression of light and creation. And so we need to be able to create all the time. We need to get out of our own way with the thinking that I wonder what that person is going to think of me when I do this. I'm fearful that that person is going to be angry with me because of something I say. These are all thoughts that we have to acknowledge them as passing thoughts, just like clouds in a blue sky. You know, and I'm out here, it is so misty out here and it's so foggy. And this really reminds me of how some people can have clouded judgment and clouded vision, and how we just can't see clearly through the fog. But we can sit here and trust that what we do will be the right thing.
You know, the fog and being in that environment, it just reminds me of living in the present, you know, like being able to look around in our present now and use the information in our environment to connect with. You know, the words you're saying are coming out from the fog itself. And sitting in the middle of the fog and still being coherent and clear and crisp and awake and wide-eyed, all of this shows us that what? We're okay regardless of the thoughts or of the whatevers that are going on. We're always going to be able to find clarity if we, you know that we are those spiritual people, those spiritual beings in the world.
And it doesn't matter what we do. If it's right or wrong, that's a duality, and it's a reality that we are moving beyond. Good and bad and right and wrong are concepts that we've created.
I feel like, I better say the right things, or, what if I don't say something worth recording or some garbage like that? I'm like, dude, why do you have to pester me all the time with being perfect? You know, that's what Brian does, I guess.
That's what Crystal does too. Let me be very transparent with you. Crystal blocks my creativity and inspiration all the time. And I think it's just recently that I've started recognizing that I can, control that a little bit. And I can quiet that part of myself. But after acknowledging it, hey, yeah, look, I realize I want to be perfect. I want to do everything right. But, you're not going to get there like without making mistakes and without failing. Failure is opportunities for growth. So we need to go through failures in order to ascend.
Yeah. And what's perfect anyway? I mean, we're abstract creative expression in the world that hasn't existed before. So there's nothing to compare it to.
To be fully original and to embrace that authenticity, we have to be willing to, okay, I don't know what this is going to bring, but I'm going to try it out anyways. Like that's where I'm at right now.
All of a sudden, it's like you just became like this little kid, the little kids that we really are, the little children of the light or God or whatever the hell it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the rigidity, the logic, the words, the descriptions, they're very concrete. And the thoughts, they're very specific. And that's not really a bad thing, obviously, because, like, how am I going to tell the difference between anything? How am I going to communicate meaningfully in the world if I don't know the difference between words and if I'm not really claiming one over the other? But how can I then just like relax more and be able to like let the words flow, let life flow, let it all go, blah, 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 like I'm doing right now, riding a wave of the flow of the whatever feels like a change in the tone of my voice. And so whatever, that feels like energy for me. And when I do that, I feel vibrating on a way that is just like everything's okay, you're going to be okay, everything is okay. And it just shakes everything off me or something. It's just good for me.
I love that. You brought up so many good points. And one of the things that I'm going to circle back around to was the communication and how you're talking about thoughts and logic and reason and how else are we going to communicate? The way that we make these meaningful connections with other people, we use our thinking and logical minds to connect with other people in a way that they will understand. And with your expression and singing and you're using your voice and you feel like you're most in the flow that way, that is a throat chakra expression of yourself. And you're able to take what you're logically thinking and bring it down a little bit into your throat center and using that ability to connect with other people with logic and reason, but connect with your solar plexus and the lower chakras, creativity, all of that. And then the voice, the vibration and sound that you put out actually clears energy. So like when you put the sound, when you use the sound, it's like it's purifying and it's cleansing.
Droplets of light coming from my throat chakra, kind of like the fog has the droplets of water. But this is like a light that I can shine in the fog, and that's good news for me. What are like 3 things right now that you just find important?
3 things that I find really important. I would have to say number 1 is figuring out who the I am that I am is. I think that's really important. Number 1, like a lot of us talk about that in the spiritual community. And I feel like for the longest time, I didn't understand what that was, but I think I should have put more importance to it sooner. Not that I'm, feeling like I'm delayed we're always exactly where we need to be. But I feel like if I would have paid more attention to that sooner, that it would have been good. So the I am that I am to me is that spirit, is that silent observer of self. And I can tune into that at any point. That leads into the second most important thing, is being mindful in every moment of every day. So the things that we're doing, to especially notice the things that make us really uncomfortable or the things that we hate doing. But it's like you want to look more into that. If you're being mindful in everything that you're doing, meaning that you are the silent observer of yourself. So you're sitting there and you're watching yourself from a higher perspective while you're folding laundry or you're doing dishes or you're communicating with other people or you're driving your car. So if you can step back and look from a higher perspective of yourself, that's a really good way to be mindful in every moment. The third most important thing for me would be right now is making meaningful connections with other people. What is life without making meaningful and loving connections with people, and spreading small acts of kindness. If every person in the world was to do one small act of kindness, we would be there. We would be in our new world, which is the end of times, right? It's the end of time as we know it.
Powerful. Crystal, you are a powerful force of light in this world. Oh my God, that channel of yours, Crystal's Ascension, right? Oh, on YouTube is so good. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe, I can see in my mind's eye, like all of these iterations of you expanding and reaching so many people on a very deep core level of who they are and what they can do in the world on a practical basis. When they're doing their laundry, when they're just walking around their little corner of the world, they're going to be able to be that empowered observer that I am inside their lives because of what you're saying. So I'm honored to even like hear your answers to those questions. It brings tears to my eyes. It's light tears coming out of me.
Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Thank you so
good.
much
Oh my
for
God.
asking that.
So look how easy it is to just live our lives like that observer, that child that just dives into the fog and trusts that it's all going to just be light and bright and worthwhile. And there's just no mistakes. Where is the mistake? I don't even feel like it could be one. Is there even one? What do I have to compare it to cause a mistake? Like, what? Isn't this all just happening exactly as it's supposed to? Like, you were right where we need to be, like you were saying? Yeah. So I just feel free. I don't feel like a mistake. That's the thing. Psychic, clairvoyant, oracle card reading, tarot card reading, chakras, like all of this good stuff, spiritual communication, giving the spiritual body a real substance, a real material substance with our words, with descriptions, and with that energy. Oh my God, it's just so good.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What can we do more, Brian, to expand that spiritual communication with other people and reach, people at various levels? A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, spirituality, chakras, oracle cards, tarot cards, these are like flags of people to run the other direction.
I'll go into my everyday experiences and I'll look for an opportunity in those moments. For example, like shopping at the supermarket. So when we're in that little moment at the checkout counter and they're ringing some stuff up and I'm like sitting there wishing that the groceries would be done and over with, that's an opportunity for me where I'm like, oh, wait, I'm in a little movie with this person. I'm the customer, they're the checkout person, and now we can just engage. I'm in relationship with everybody and everything all the time. And I'll have it in my mind that I'm talking to a spiritually awake person. I just take the opportunity to be my spiritual, comfortable self with them. And I think that automatically goes out into their life. Like there's a transference. This is a good question that I don't actually know.
That's awesome. I love the answers that you're giving. What you're saying makes perfect sense to me because everyone has such a unique and individual viewpoint. What you're saying, people are picking up, man. Like everyone has their own unique way of expressing it. There's no right or wrong way to express it.
Do you know what it is? I feel like there is an infinite number of possibilities that I could embody in the moment. So I feel like I'm just like, sitting in a room where there's an infinite number of doors and I get to choose as that observer, as that God conscious thing. I get to be like, which door do you want to go through? You can choose any of them. So I feel like it's a choice is what it is. And so I choose to try to engage the world around me with that light or with that playfulness or with that idea that we are spiritual beings. In other words, then, if I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh, this sucks, I hate groceries, why isn't the line going quicker? That's also a choice that I'm making. Absolutely. Accidentally, usually unconsciously, maybe. So what you talked about before about knowing we are spiritual beings, having a human experience, the more that I can be mindful all the time or observer all the time, I want to always remember that that's who I really am, because that allows me to see all these doors that I can then go through, Otherwise, I get stuck. I guess I've noticed I've been stuck in myself just going on a storyline. And the danger of that is I could think that there's no other choices, that maybe is the real thing that is happening, is that by being spiritually awake, knowing my identity as consciousness, spirit, or whatever it is, awareness, that allows me to choose the whole thing and not blame other people for doing something to me. I'm making the choice when I'm back there. And then when I'm not that, it seems like I can't make the choice because I'm locked in to some type of
unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that making these videos, having conversations like this, I think just us talking about it is raising the awareness of it everywhere, on just because we're all like this one God having 7 billion people experiences. So I think just us talking about it is doing it. And I think also as we communicate like one-on-one or in groups of people, or when we make our videos or we do our readings, we are going through the topics more and more and just spreading it,
Yeah.
so that it becomes more normal for people. And one more thing I do to try to make like psychic clairvoyant reading or oracle card reading and all that, spiritual card reading, tarot card reading, all of that, to make it more normal, I try to associate it with just everyday things. Like it's just an image and some words, and when you're at the supermarket, that's what you see is you see a can of soup, it's an image and it's words, and you read the back of the packaging, it's words. They're all images and words.
You're relating these oracles and cards and images to everyday life. And what you're helping me see is how the images and oracles we're showing people on cards are literally around us all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for reflecting that back in such a clear way. I appreciate that. And you did it with the fog around you. You're like, the fog feels like this and that. So you use the fog as an oracle card. Like we do this in relationships with other people. We'll read their body language and then we'll be like, we think this or we think that or whatever. There's so much depth to what we're talking about. Oh my God, Crystal, all of a sudden, like I realized two things. One is I don't like being asked questions for some reason. I don't know why. That's for me. I'm like, damn, Brian, what's wrong with you? You can't answer a question. You like make all these videos, you talk all smooth, whatever. Most of the time you feel like you're in the flow and then you can't answer your question with anything that's coherent. The other thing that I realized was I know that we're all stars, okay? But we're all different shapes and sizes and colors and all that. Now, what I know though is this, that if I'm a star like this big, you are a star that's like this big, dude. And I know that about you. I felt like you were this mother. Like I could see you as the mother of, of a child. You're a mom, right? Anyway, but I saw you as like a mother of like people, like all people. All of a sudden I was like, holy moly, right? Like this person is like the mother of creation. People in the world looking towards you, Crystal, in a way where they are going to be able to get what they maybe didn't get from their mom or they didn't get when they were growing up or whatever. And I feel safer in the world because you exist. Oh my God.
Aww.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Thank you for saying that. That really
Yeah.
resonates with me because I think more and more, even over the past few years, especially since I've had my son, he's 3. And I feel like the mother of all really emerging from within. And even from a young child, I was basically born out of the womb, mothering everyone and everything. So I think that's a really appropriate analysis of me. As far as feeling like little or comparing me to like a bigger star to like a littler star, as far as that goes, I personally think it really shows a part of you because we're all reflections of each other. I really feel that it shows a part of you that is that powerful too, or whatever you see in me is ultimately within you. And you are that bright, burning bright star and have so much to share. All of us are, expressions of light, and we're all expressions of love. If you see it in someone else, then that means it is within you. And that shows a possibility of what can be in the universe. And it's like, wow, something that great can be there, like that is a possibility for me to expand into. And it's like it's a wonderful expression of me in the universe, of I that I am, right? I am that I am, of the spirit expression of creation and the physical manifestation of humans being. No one is better or no one is greater or less than one another. Everyone is equal And I really do believe that. I think it's also important to super highlight the fact that there is so much darkness in the world. And I know we don't want to reflect that out there. We want that to kind of quiet down now, right? We want that to stop. But here's the thing. People continue to be unconscious, and they continue to unconsciously project these negative energies into the universe until they become aware of it. The awareness level is really important. Just raising your awareness on these things until people can actually become aware that they are spiritual and having human experiences, and they can step outside of themselves, their ego self, and move into their spiritual self. We're going to continue to see people take offense, continue to judge each other, continue to have anger and greed and hate and all of these things that we don't like to talk about. Some of us know how to express love to a greater or lesser capacity than others.
Okay.
And so I think that all of us can learn how to expand our lights as big as the sun if we embrace and fully embrace and let go of anything that is preventing us from loving one another unconditionally.
So well said. I super appreciate you saying all of this message.
When the student is ready to learn, the teacher will appear. And I fully and truly trust and believe that now more than ever.
And it's funny that you'd say that, because what I'm realizing is that I'm the student here. At the same time, we both get to be the student and the teacher at the same time. Like you said, we're equal. Look I want to ask you, like, tell me, like, all the ways that people can find you right now. Let's hear it. How can you find Crystal White? Crystal White. Oh my God, find Crystal White. Oh, I found her. Oh my God, she's amazing. Dude, find Crystal White. How can we find you?
So you can find me on Facebook. My page is called Crystal's Path of Ascension. I've been working on it for the past few years, and just recently I started expanding from that. I've created an Instagram recently called Crystal's Ascension, and that is also the same name you'll find me under. YouTube is Crystal's Ascension, and I do daily messages. I do oracles. I do chakra healings. I do chakra mudra, guided meditations, little short videos, stuff that you can work on daily. I really want to reach as many people in the world as I can, because I feel that calling very strongly. So thank you so much for helping me to spread that.
Another thing, like, what if people want to, like, donate and help you, like, financially? Can they just give money to you because they just realize that you're doing something worth supporting, and then they want to just throw a few bucks this way or whatever? Or do you do, like, can they just donate to you? Can they get readings from you on, like, life coaching, guidance, things like that? Tell us more.
So absolutely. I just recently, I'm a healthcare practitioner and a professional certified life coach as well. With the money, I am so grateful for any amount of money that people want to throw at me to help support me. So yes, donations, love offerings, booking a reading with me. You'll mainly find all of my availability and bookings, my availability on Crystal's Path of Ascension on Facebook. However, you can reach out to me on any platform, and I'm willing to, accept readings and accept, love offerings. And you guys are more than welcome to donate to me at Crystal White 1111 through either PayPal or Venmo.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know too, like, during live shows and stuff like that, people can make donations for cards on the live shows and stuff like that, because I know I've seen you live, and oh my God, you are a bright, bright light in this world. Thank you for being who you are. Oh, so good. Oh my God. All right. Oh, the energy is too much. All right, calm down, Brian. Take a breath, dude.
No, Brian, thank you for being you. Thank you for letting that energy rise up to the ethers. Like, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for this awesome freaking interview. Like, you are amazing. You are a bright light. I could see that the first time I connected with you in one of the spiritual groups on Facebook, and you have really done some amazing things, and you're sharing some light with people. So you are awesome.
Thank
you
you
are
so
a freaking bright light, dude. Bright light.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, so here's to all of the beautiful things that are just continuing to happen every single day. All we got to do is look around and decide to notice them, decide and claim that they are happening, and just make that decision, like, wait, wonderful things are happening. And then boom, 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 we open our eyes and we start to see evidence of it. So good.